Taoiseach, the annual report speaks about the role of Ireland in the world. So I'd like to ask the Taoiseach whether the role he envisages is one of allying with and participating in NATO. I'd like to ask the Taoiseach whether the Irish Government participated in the 5th meeting of the Ukraine Defence Contact Group, which took place at the Ramstein US Air Base in Germany, which also happens to be where the NATO headquarters, military headquarters, are based. To quote the US Secretary of Defence, after the meeting, he said, "I'm extremely proud of the progress on the discussion to intensify our efforts to support Ukraine, and strengthen our NATO alliance," speaking there about the 50 countries which attended. To be clear, and we have been clear and consistent throughout, we're absolutely opposed to Putin's imperialist invasion of Ukraine. We're also opposed to the attempt to use that horrific invasion to drive militarisation, to undermine what's left of neutrality here, and to try to rebuild the idea of joining NATO. It's very clear from that approach by the US Secretary of Defence. That's what the aim, that's what's happening here. Did the Irish Government participate?
In relation to the question by Deputy Murphy, not aware of the specific meeting in question, but I would say this to you, that I don't believe you're correct in your analysis that people are using the war in Ukraine as to drive militarisation of the world or NATO. Personally, I think it's a perverse analysis, because nobody wanted the war on Ukraine except Putin. I mean, members of European countries like Germany, the Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, President Emmanuel Macron, did everything they possibly could to prevent the war, to stop a war. But war has consequences, Deputy. When a person or when a leader wages a war in an unprovoked fashion, in a brutal fashion, on a neighbouring country, simply because he believes the country doesn't exist and is kind of possessed by some sort of 19th century imperialist view of the world, then the neighbours of that neighbour have to take note. The continent has to take note. You just can't have an endless sort of continuance of that policy. And that is why people are taking extra measures to protect themselves closer to Russia, unfortunately. And it's why Finland and Sweden have applied to join NATO. Because they see it, and I met the Finnish Prime Minister and President, balanced, reasonable people who've had who've navigated a relationship with Russia for a long, long time. But their view was this brutal invasion of Ukraine changed everything. What they were told in their childhood, the ultimate fear, came to be realised in the invasion. People in Estonia, Poland, Baltics more generally, all very anxious and worried about what happened. And that's the natural response that has occurred. And I think most people, the vast, vast majority of people, obviously would have preferred if this never happened. We didn't find ourselves in this situation.